Warren, who's going to talk to us about extracting features from drone capture. So take it away, Warren.
Thanks, Annie. I'm over in Rehonda College and Claremont Colleges in Los Angeles County. And the material I'm sharing with you today actually is up online. So the link's provided, it's a story map. It's actually a lesson I provide to my students. So next. So why the lesson? Well, at the colleges where I work for this exercise, I was teaching a course with a colleague. It was an ecology course with using drones. And partway through the semester, as you know, we broke away and students abruptly left. And fortunately, before the students left, they were able to have some hands-on. And we're out in the field collecting some data. We did some processing into the Esri software. But once they left, the problem we have with, especially the community colleges, many of the students are Mac users. They're unable to process a lot of the data unless it's Windows. So we had to think of some other options, and I put together a lesson, which is what I'm sharing with you today. So in this exercise, the objective was to provide some data that my colleague collected and give them a way to explore different tools. And some of these students are juniors, and perhaps they would then be using them in the fall. This coming fall, we're trying to pull together project ideas together now. So at least they have an understanding what these tools are available for them. Next. So in this short exercise, they can perform most of it. 2/3 of the project can be done entirely online. So they do need to have they do not need to have any software installed. The first portion of this is to generate an orthomosaic. We're using Pix4D. We have a classroom license, but without access to installing the software, the students then would perform it online on the cloud. So it's pretty straightforward. And then once they generate the orthomosaic, they would then download that imagery and then upload it onto another cloud. And on that cloud, they would train using artificial intelligence dashboard. They would train a detector to identify features in the image. And there's many applications in here to try to give them some thought of how they may use this in identifying maybe invasive species in the future on a project, or maybe they're looking at some type of land use type, looking at impervious services. So it's a good way just to give them an awareness that there's a lot more we can do with drones than just take imagery. So once they're able to generate this detector, then the last portion would be then to download these locations and then perform some analysis, which they would do in perhaps their thesis work. But some of them were unable to access that because they are got a low Wi-Fi connection. They don't have any way to install the software. So that was an optional. But in this story map that I'm providing to you, all of my steps are in here. So if you want to go through this yourself, you're welcome to. Next. So the idea is my colleague went to England and to do some research, and he is a big Harry Potter fan. So this is a field in the Harry Potter, and he was walking around and he thought, hey, there's a lot of molehills around here. And this gentleman's an ecologist. He wanted to think of any type of research project. So he said, you know, I got a drone in my pocket. He threw it up in the air. It's a Spark. And he just captured some imagery, and he came back and gave me the drone and said, Warren, can you make a project of this? And I said, well, what do you want to do? Well, let's just determine how many molehills and how they're distributed. So I thought, okay, that's great. Next. So the link is provided for you. You can go through this yourself. So the story map will take you through the process in which we go through to process the imagery online. This is my drone. I'm only kidding. But you can see there's a link there. You don't need to click on the link, but it allows you to download just 13 images. He just freely flew the drone along this field. And you can see an example of some of the molehills on the right there. Next. So the idea is, in this case, the students can make a free account on Pix4D. We upload the data, pretty straightforward. Then they download the GeoTIFF. The story map will go through some basics about what is photogrammetry, and what is remote sensing, just to give them a general idea. But fortunately, before they left, they had some hands-on and some presentations on this material. So they do have some of that information in the back of their mind. So they download the GeoTIFF, next. And then they upload it to another tool. This tool I searched online during the spring, and I found these folks they are out in Switzerland, like Pixfooty, and they provide you the option to upload your imagery and train their artificial dashboard to detect features in the image. In this case, you can see there's the molehills, pretty easy to see, and there's some really good directions on there you can follow along. I even noticed after the fact that there's some horseshoe prints in this image too. So the imagery is okay for this exercise. And digitizing this is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of help if you ever need it. So once they identify a few features, they train it. Next. What they do then is they download these features.
Warren, we've got about 10 more seconds until the 6 minutes is up.
Okay.
So we'll just wrap up your presentation.
Sure. So in this last slide here, you can see they can download all of the locations and there'll be point features. And then you can take it into the Esri tool and see, are they distributed, are they clustered? And that could be some idea for them doing some thesis research work in the future. And there's my link below. Thank you.